Hello students, Professor Benavides here. I want to go ahead and go over a really simple Java application that demonstrates the dangers of integer division. We've got to step into this hole to learn it. So let's just go ahead and start NetBeans up. And we'll do a real simple application that calculates interest. And I'm going to ask you to create some data types in a particular way where we end up dividing an integer by an integer. So let's go ahead and just call this interest. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the desktop. And I'm going to get rid of the package statement because we're not going to be using it. All right, so that's going to give us our little shell. We're going to get rid of the unessential comments, align the curly brackets so that we can view the code in an easier to understand way. And I'm also going to go ahead and comment the closing curly brackets so that we make sure we understand the structure of a Java program and so that we don't delete the ending curly brackets. Before we do anything, we should go up here to the very top and put in our general comments, which typically include the name of the program, your name, date, and a description. Okay. Let's go ahead and put that in. Interest, put your name in. And the date. And description. All right, so let's come to the opening curly bracket inside of main and press enter. So basically in a Java application, everything's inside of a class. Notice the name of the project became the name of the class. I called my project interest in NetBeans and it ended up creating a class called interest. So the blue represents keywords, public class interest, and it has an opening and closing curly brackets. And inside of the class, we have a special method called the main method. And this is where we're going to put in our commands for now. Later on, we'll learn about other places to put programming structures. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put in some basic specific comments to sort of like path out where I want to go. I want to go ahead and declare some variables, some buckets to put something in. Now, we're not going to prompt the user, and that's why we're going to end up doing some assignment statements. I'll say populate variables, and then we're going to go ahead and perform the calculations for interest. And then we'll go ahead and show output. Very basic input processing output model. Now, as I said, we're going to create some simple data types. We're going to then make assignment statements. We're not going to prompt the user, so it's not going to have a lot of variation. I do think that you should work this out on a calculator to verify things. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to declare variables for rate, years, loan, and interest. And I'm going to ask you to go ahead and declare rate as an int, even though you might want to declare it as a double. Because inside of the equation, we're going to go ahead and engage in see what happens in integer division. very unique to Java. Some programming languages don't have this, like in Python, but in Java we do. So we're going to say int years. So these are just little buckets that we're going to put something in. And that's a very simplistic understanding of what's going on. So we'll have 2 floating points and 2 whole numbers, right? So loan and then interest. Then we're going to go ahead and populate. That makes the assignment statements. Now we could have probably done that on the same lines above, but I'm just doing this real simple. So rate gets 6, years gets 15, and then for loan, let's just say the loan amount is 5,000. Okay. So lines 19, 20, and 21, these are called assignment statements because whatever is on the right gets assigned to what's on the left. So I'm putting 6 inside of rate. Rate is an integer. It's an int. Putting 15 in years, and that's, that's understandable that it would be, an int. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 5,000 into the loan. As far as performing the calculations are concerned, let's go ahead and do that. So interest is calculated this way. All right. So, and we'll try and explore a little bit and see what's going on as we're going along. So for right now, let's do a few S outs. So let's say principal amount of the loan. Colon, and then we're going to just fake the formatting. Later on, you'll learn how to format currency more appropriately. But for right now, I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and put in the $ as a string and concatenate that with the variable. Okay. So we'll do another S out. I just type in SOUT tab, and that puts in the print line statement for me. It works only in NetBeans. The interest rate, colon, is going to be concatenated with rate, and I'm going to just concatenate the percent sign on there, make it look nice. Do another S out. This case, we'll have number of years, colon, and concatenate that with years. S out. Last one is total interest paid. Colon, interest. All right, well, that is, this is the hole that she wanted us to get into. So basically what's going to happen here is she wants us to go ahead and, or the author of your book, let me be very specific, wants you to divide rate, which is an integer, by 100. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. And here's my output down below. So we've got, certainly repeating back that I have $5,000 for the loan. It's not formatted for currency. There's no commas, no 2 decimal places, but at least it's got the $sign. That's fine. That's not the main idea. We're repeating back that the interest rate is 6%, 15 years for the loan. Here's the big deal. The big deal. Let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to go ahead and get a calculator out. You know why I like to test things out with a calculator, so we can figure out why I'm getting 0. So rate what happens in Java when I divide an int by an int, which we refer to as integer division. So if I type in a 6 and I divide that by 100, I get 0.06. Well, guess what? In integer division, the floating point gets truncated. Yep, we only end up with a 0 here. So as you know, 0 times, anything is 0 times anything, and times anything again will be 0, so that the only way out is a 0 for interest. So then she says, think, the author of the book, there's different ways to get out of this problem. Of course, some people would say, hey, if you would have just made rate a double, we wouldn't have to go through this. But then you wouldn't have been alerted to the problem of integer division and learned it. Many times the best way to learn about these problems is when you stumble into them. You certainly don't want to be doing something like this in a professional app. Okay, so, we could do casting. And casting is difficult on the eyes sometimes, and you want to experiment, a little bit, not experiment, but you could, if it doesn't work the first time, try it out somewhere else. But the easiest thing to do instead of casting would be promotion. That's the idea that if I divide an integer by a double, even though it's a literal, the result is a double. Okay, it's called promotion. Because, just for example, if I multiply an int times a double, what's the result? A double. If I divide an int by a double, what's the result? A double. So the result will always be the larger data type. Okay? So let me go ahead and run this again one more time. And then we see that we have success. And did I forget the dollar sign? Yes. So let me go put the dollar sign in here. And let's run it again one more time just to see the silly little dollar sign. And there it is. So there it's working out right. Now, if you can't remember how to do casting, and it looks a little bit weird, on here, well, a casting is when you, like, say, for example, you put in the name of the data type you want the result to end up being. So what you could do, now let's go ahead and give it a try, is double, right, on the rate. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it did. That's a lot of typing, and it looks a little weird. The promotion would have just done just as well, but this is called casting. Casting is when you put the name of the data type in parentheses next to whatever it is that you need to convert to the to this particular data type. You're casting this int to a double. All right. So let's just take it back to the 0. It's the easiest. This is a double. It's called a literal. Let's be very clear about our terminology here. When I put in a .0 here, 100.0 is a numeric literal. It is a double. Okay, so that when I run this, I get the right answer as well. Okay, so there you go. You certainly don't want to be doing this, with an answer that says that your interest paid is 0. Of course, a lot of programmers would say, the best way to do this would be to go ahead and just change rate to double, and that would work as well. But let's keep on task and let's focus on the problem at hand, and the problem at hand is the danger of integer division. So I will leave you, that is the main idea. The other things that we talked about, in this little simple demonstration, concatenation, assignment. And so concatenation occurs with the plus sign. Assignment statements occur when you assign whatever is on the right of the equal sign to, and better off not calling it an equal sign. I don't know if you noticed it, or I should have said rate gets 6, because later on you're going to learn that the test for equality is 2 equal signs in Java. So, to be compulsive about it, we'll just go ahead and say rate gets 6, on here. So that's the main idea of the program. Professor Benavides, over and out.